What up guys, Supermetal993 here to bring you another album review, and this time I have literally got the darkest and most crushingly heavy release of 2018 to review for you, so just bear that in mind when you get into this album, when you go to check it out. But yeah, this is going to be a review of the new Black Tongue album entitled Nadir. This is self-released and also being made available through physical through Indie Merch Store. So if you haven't picked up a copy, make sure you do so. Link down below for the pre-orders and what have you. Now, if you aren't too familiar with Black Tongue, I'd be very surprised, especially if you're into down-tempo and deathcore. You'll know who these guys are, but if you're not, they are a four-piece, as I said, down-tempo band hailing from Hull City, UK, and these guys pretty much invented the sound that we know nowadays as down-tempo, especially with their debut EP, which is called Falsifier, which I picked up when it first came out, and still an absolute outstanding release. Definitely the more sludgier, more, I would say, grudgy, you know, it's sort of really filthy sound in that release, but really awesome. If you want something very heavy, definitely check out that one. But if you want something even heavier, go to their second EP, which is called Born Hanged. Now, this one is obviously more in vein of what we class nowadays as the traditional sound of down-tempo deathcore, but oh my god, that release is one of the heaviest things you will ever hear in music, if you ask me, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, absolutely outstanding EP. I need to get it on CD because I have got Falsifier on like a cardboard slipcase, but then I definitely need to get Born Hanged on CD. If it ever gets reissued or I find a copy relatively cheap enough, I'll get it. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one, But they then released their unbelievable debut album, the Unconquerable, Dark, through Century Media Records in 2015, and that to me, as I said in my Super Metal recommendations, linked down below where you can find a little bit more detail, I think is a vastly under-talked about and underappreciated release, because that thing is just an outstanding release. It's got elements of doom, it's got elements of black metal, it's obviously got deathcore sound and the down-tempo sound and sludge in there as well. Every one of that combining into one unique release, and definitely the Unconquerable Dark has become one of my all-time favourite albums. It is outstanding. If you haven't heard it already, check it out. It's unbelievably good. Now, obviously, in that time since that release, the band's gone through some ups and downs over the years, and no one knew what the future was for Black Tongue, but they have now returned with a brand new album, which, as I said at the start of the video, is one of the darkest and most heaviest releases in music, period. This is not the Unconquerable Dark Part 2. This is not going back to the Born Hanged days. This is not going to the Falsifier days. This is an absolute new beast that has been awakened in Black Tongue. 3 years down the line, and we get this album. Oh my god, this is absolutely outstanding. I mean, I knew this album was going to be something a little bit different. I knew it wasn't going to be an Unconquerable Dark Part 2, but I knew that it was going to be something very special, and it is indeed. This is, I can't fathom how much I have been blown away by this album. Today is release day, I might as well have, but I've listened to it so many times, I just had to get in front of a camera and talk about it, because this is well and truly blown me away. Obviously, the first track that they released was the 5th track, Ultimate Kneecat. I'm no good at pronunciation, but yeah, the first track, and I believe personally that is just a little teaser of what this album can do to you. Not what it holds, just what it can do to you, because obviously that song, if you haven't heard it already, is pummelingly heavy. Now that one kind of echoes a little bit in vein of the Unconquerable Dark, if you ask me, but that is kind of where the similarity ends, because the rest of the, how many tracks we got on here? The rest of the 9 tracks on this album, well, actually going to say 8 tracks on this album, definitely hold a new depth and darkness and grittiness that you just can't shake off. I mean, from the first track, The Eternal Return to Ruin, you know instantly that Black Tongue has gone through, you could see a bit of a replenishment sort of vibe in there. They've basically looked at their craft and go, okay, let's move on from this and create the heaviest, darkest, and most biblically heavy release that you will hear today. And that is what this album starts off with and continues throughout the Cathedral and Second Death. Just punches you in the face, but it creates, like as I said, the depth of blackness that lurks within this album. It just feels like you're actually drowning, and the only way I could imagine it actually sounding is if you're actually near the bottom of the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, with all that water pressure building up upon you, crushing down on you. That is the musical equivalent of what this is. That is what this album does to you. It is soul crushing. It'll crush your body, it'll crush your mind, and it'll blow it at the same time. I know that kind of contradicts itself in a way, but that is what this album fucking does. And then obviously you get the fourth track, which is Blackthorn Temple, which is a more spoken word sort of thing, but there's a bit of a lurkiness in there that definitely gives it that smear and darkness sort of vibe to it. Not darkness, obviously, I believe in a thing called love. None of that. Don't expect that on this. Anyway, moving on from the shit. Yeah, Blackthorn Temple just gives it that creepy, dark possession, not obviously the band, but like possessed sort of vibe in there that really feels like sinister and gnarly even. It's just unbelievable. And then obviously you get to Ultima Necat, I'm going to say that, and obviously I've spoken about that. And then the second half of this album, from track 6 to track 10, it's the same sort of audio, absolutely suffocating, and just overall just biblically heavy as per usual. But there is riffs for days across this album. But with the low tune that they got, the octaves that it is, it just creates so much heaviness, but the riffs just hit that much harder, and quite frankly I think it's just pummelingly heavy. And I might as well add, just to say, when we're talking about pummelingly heavy, you have to hear the third song, Second Death. Second Death is, oh my god, I don't even know what happened to me earlier today when I first heard that song. I literally was in trance and awe just hearing that, and I still am, and I'm thinking about it now when I'm just like getting shivers and hairs are standing on it. It just unbelievable shit. And then obviously Contrapasso, the sixth track, in a abuse ritual and parting suit. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. The eighth track, continually crushing things, decimating everything in sight, and creating those, it's suffocating vibes, as I said before. But then one thing that definitely did surprise me when I saw the track list is the ninth track, because it didn't actually state it in there, was a dying god coming into human flesh. And I recognise that name straight away, because that, if it's near us, which I'm sure it is, yep, is from Celtic Frost's Monotheist. Yeah, this album is fucking awesome. Anyway, but this is my favourite Celtic Frost album, and definitely one of the best extreme metal albums, so I'm not going to go into a review on this, but yeah, the darkness that lurks on this album is perfect atmosphere. So Black Tongue covering that song is just a match made in heaven. Obviously with the lower tune, and it sounds even more crushing. Obviously I can't say I prefer it to the original, but they're both different in their own elements, but I think they executed that cover perfectly. It fits the album as well, with the creepiness that lurks within that dark, and it's definitely a twisted song to have in there. But I have to say, props to Alex from Black Tongue for doing those amazing cleans. You execute them perfectly, mate, and quite frankly, I would like to see some more of that stuff in the original stuff in the future when that comes. But yeah, excellent job on the Celtic Frost cover. And then Crippled Before the Dwelling Place of God, the last track. Oh, the ending that I wanted, full on heaviness, unbridled, unrelenting, and it never lets go. And quite frankly, it closes the album with a massive freaking bang. And this is like a full on bang of a fucking tank. Oh my god, that song is absolutely incredible. And once again, I'm just going to give props to Aaron Kitcher for doing incredible drum work. He is an excellent drummer. Obviously playing at those slow speeds, it's I like to see more than that, just a slow beat. I like to see some experimentations in there and hear it, and there's a lot of it. There's some really intricate grooves in there. They're definitely and the fills, he is definitely one of the, he's up there, and he's, I hope this doesn't make him blush too much, but Chris Adler obviously knows how to fill some little voids in there. Aaron Kitcher is great at that as well. He is up there with Chris Adler, if you ask me. I'm not saying it's fast drumming, it just executes with perfection, if you ask me. And the tone on this album with the guitars, it's way more cleaner production. It's beefy still, and as I said about the grooves, essential as fuck, and it sounds amazing as fuck. And it's eons better production-wise. Well, not eon, sorry. It's a lot better than the Unconquerable Dark's production, but it's a new Black Tongue. It's executed differently, but it's still the king of the mountain when it comes to heaviness. So, and Alex's vocals, outstanding, monstrous lows, his creepy black metal vocals that are just getting better and better. They're just pure filth. There's no other way behind it. It's just pure bourbon filth. And anyway, and the lyrics, absolutely outstanding once again. Alex is an outstanding lyricist, and it conjures up the darkness on this. This is the musical equivalent of being suffocated at the bottom of the sea, or if you want another equivalent, it's like being sucked into a black void or a black hole, just to go away from existence. That's what it'll sound like. Oh my god, don't listen to this for pure pleasure. Just listen to this just to get pummeled to fucking death. That's the only way I can say it. So, and I'm not the only real comparison of darkness that I can really compare this to is the same sort of vibes that were on The Satanist by Behemoth. That's the only really comparison, is Black Tongues, maybe a bit of Unconquerable Dark in there, but the same sort of black and evilness lurking that The Satanist had. Those are the only two combinations. There's no for fans of down there. If you want for fans of, just for fans of Nadir by Black Tongue, that's all you need to do, because this album is a one-of-a-kind album, and it will crush you. And I might as well add, by the time this video goes up, I will be going to Fall in the Brawl in Manchester, and I'll be recording some footage of Black Tongue to go on this YouTube channel, if my phone doesn't die, but I'll be recording some more footage of other bands and stuff. But I'm so looking forward to meeting you guys at Fall in the Brawl and moshing away with you, so I'll see you there. And for an overall score on this album, surprise, surprise, I'm going to give this a solid 10 out of 10. This is absolutely outstanding, heavy as fuck. There is nothing in 2018 that is going to come close to how heavy Black Tongue's Nadir is. And I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.